Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? We are going to allow people to start coming in and then we will get started. So, yeah, as people come in, of course, definitely let us know where you're coming in from and we will do our best to make sure everybody gets called a shout out. And so, as people come in, definitely again let us know. How you doing, Tracy? Glad to see you're here. I'm sure everybody's just super excited to be here. So we're gonna allow people to come in and start seeing things. I'm gonna let people know real quick that we are live. Okay. Good morning. How are we doing today? Late night, early mornings. That's the way it goes. So you're off on Wednesday, so you can join in. Welcome, Maureen. I know everybody is. Good morning, Proud. Good morning, D. Lynch. Mandy, welcome. So we have Pennsylvania here. Yeah, North Carolina. Welcome. So, Tennessee, still passing meds, but you're listening. Welcome. Um, give me a second. I will. And we have Washington, South Carolina. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to let people know what the link is unless somebody else is already doing it. Okay. I think that's right. So, Utah, welcome. Eastern Tennessee, North Carolina as well, Missouri. We're missing a few of our regulars, but you know what? It's all good. We definitely like when people. Um, give me a second. I don't even know that I got. I probably got it, but if you sent it to the admin email, I haven't been able to log into that yet, so I will definitely look real quick. Um, Shauna, I've seen that when you shared it in the Signal group. So there are some things I have to say about that. Look at the administration that just authored the report. See, that report was actually supposed to come out on the 19th of January, which would have been under the Trump administration, but because they decided to slow walk it, it got slow walked until it was several months in, or a month or two into the Biden administration, just to throw water on the whole process. So Epic Times, they do a good job, and they have to report the facts, even even though they may not agree with them. They the Biden administration, they slow walked everything, so they could doctor the evidence any way any way, shape, or form that they wanted to. But in all reality, we all know what the ODNI said prior. So I'm not anybody that says that it was a fair report. I don't believe so. So yeah, yeah, Mike Lindell does have a lot of good evidence, and the okay. So when they put out the ODNI report in regards to the election interference, it's going to skew. It's going to be skewed towards any whatever administration's there, and they got rid of John Ratcliffe because they knew he was actually going to tell the truth. And yeah, as soon as the new ODNI took over, of course, right away a couple weeks in, now we have a report that's put together that contradicts everything that John Ratcliffe, who was the director of national intelligence, contradicts everything that he said. So sorry you're late. Well, no worries. We did not cover too much in particular. So, but guys, there's there's been a few developments in regards to things that are happening but are not getting a whole lot of media attention. Uh, well, Shane, what could that be? Well, there's reports that now these migrant facilities are at over 800% capacity, and there's children starving because people aren't being taken they aren't being taken care of the way they're supposed to. They're getting showers maybe once a week. So it's it's been yeah, it's a catastrophe. When you Tucker Carlson, he actually flew down to El Salvador because Tucker Carlson's actually one of the very few people that I trust in regards to the mainstream media. Sean Hannity is another good. He's a good opinion head, and so is Laura Ingraham. Do I watch them very regular? No, but I do know what they put out is actually very good, and for the most part, it's been fairly accurate. And I say fairly because again, they are paid by people who don't want the truth to come out. So yes, and it's people say it's Trump's fault. Well, guess what? We are almost 60 days into an administration, and yeah, it's terrible. The way these folks think that it's okay to blame a previous administration when they've had 60 days to enact change, and we're at record low border crossings before Biden took office. So I don't understand how they could even state that it is Donald Trump's problem or they were handed a catastrophe at the border because we had everything under control. And now they're asking for civilian volunteers to go help down there. It's yeah, it's disgusting. Uh, Hannity is with Big Pharma. I agree. He does follow along with the drumbeat, but again, a lot of a lot of those people are. A lot of his information is fairly accurate, though. So I do have to give credit where credit is due. And the pin on his jacket is actually a bureau pin, and it was given to him by his brother, who is actually a FBI agent. So just to give you the accurate sense, and he's talked about the pin multiple times, and people, if you actually look at that pin, it's given to FBI field agents after graduation from Quantico. So so yeah, there's a there my phone's blowing up, guys, and I apologize, but I'm gonna look at this real quick because I think there. Okay, so I guess we're gonna launch into we're gonna launch into some things that have came up in regards to Nazara and Jozera. So a lot of people are asking, well, what is going on? Has there been a greater reset in regards to the monetary exchange and Nazara and Jazera, which is a national and a global? If you actually look out there on the internet, you can get a whole bunch of information. You actually drill down deep inside the actual treaties and everything that were being signed back and forth. It is literally changing hands from the IMF, and taking it out of the hands of the IMF and putting it in somebody else's hands. And when you look at Nazara and Jazera and the global reset, where what the globalist and other cabal related people are trying to do is paint a rosy picture about something that is actually bringing everybody under a technocracy. And Bitcoin and all of this stuff, yes, I invest in Bitcoin, I invest in different stocks and stuff like that, but I also see two things happening right now. We are on the brink of a global economic collapse. Well, Shane, what do you mean? Is if Jacera and Nasera take over, guys, neither treaty have been ratified by the Congress. Neither treaty has been ratified by any of the member nations. I know because I checked. And until it's ratified by the member nations, it cannot go into effect. Period. End of story. That's how the Constitution works. So when you sit there and you talk about stuff that you don't know anything about, you really have to really drill down into the bills and actually understand how they work. How does a treaty go into effect? Well, the president can sign a treaty. Okay, so let's pretend I'm the president, and you guys are the countries that I'm dealing with. You say, hey, Mr. President, we would like to sit down and discuss moving forward with this monetary reset. Can we come and discuss it? Absolutely. So you guys come and we sit down and we discuss it, we hash it out, and we get a formal document put together through the secretaries or whatever that we have doing it. Then we all go our separate ways, and we talk to our member or our countries, and we say, hey, we really believe this would be a good thing. Can we ratify it? And there's been a lot of treaties out there, but absolutely zero of them since the Vietnam War have actually been ratified, except for the USMCA. That is the only one. So I take that back. It's one. The USMCA is one that was actually ratified inside a, and that was to replace the North America Free Trade Agreement. It was an agreement, not a treaty. This is a USMCA. It was actually a treaty, an economic treaty between three member countries. So if it's not ratified, it does not take effect. Period. End of story. I don't care if other channels are talking about how all this stuff is going on and it's this global resets happening. It is happening, but it's not because of Nazara. It is not because of Jacera, because neither one of those has actually been ratified in our Congress. It has not been ratified, and it has to be under the Constitution. So I want to dispel some of that. And anybody who says you're going to get extremely rich, I would be very, very cautious, because everything that I read, yes, there's some flowery language in there, and there's some people that are glamoring it up, but everything I've read is not a good thing. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading into it too far, but when you're talking about microchipping and all this stuff that's buried inside these treaties, and yes, they talk about microchip and NFC exchange for money, which is basically making money useless. So people really, they ask me, well, how are we supposed to survive if this reset happens? Guys, we will do what Americans always have done. You go back to the 1930s, Americans buckled up and worked. They worked hard. They did everything they could to survive. So I'm going to go through the comments real quick and see what everybody's saying. I know I am kind of rambling a little bit, but I just want people to understand the Nazara Jacera stuff and how that would actually be implemented, not what everybody else is talking about how it would be implemented, because there's so many different moving parts that have to fall into place in order for that to happen. And right now we have a corrupt Congress that even if they wanted Nasera and Jacera to take place, you're actually looking at something that even they won't bring it to a vote. None of them will. If it was a really good thing, it would have been, you'd see certain people bring it up in Congress, and it'd still get shut down. The Congress is corrupt, and I don't trust a word that comes out of Congress for the most part. So yeah, there's the only thing wrong with that, Shane, is the newer generations don't know what hard work is. You're absolutely correct. Um, most people my age, and I'm going to put a date on myself. Most people 30 years or younger, and I'm painting with a big brush, but I don't really care. There's a lot of people that are my age that do not know how to work and do not have a standard or a way to actually work on stuff. So yeah, and guys, if you really want to protect yourself against a global reset like what is being talked about and is happening as of right now, get gold, get silver. There's a reason that it's there. With gold and silver, when you're buying gold and silver, you're actually buying something of value with money that has no value. So the only reason a $20 bill has a value of $20 is because we believe that it has a value of $20. But you're marking that up against like the Japanese yen, you're talking about the rubles from Russia, you're talking about the euro, you're talking about the British sterling or the British pound, whatever you want to call it, or Canadian money. You're balancing it against all these other currencies. And some of those currencies are actually based on gold and silver, but the US is not. Is silver good to buy? Absolutely. Physical silver. I not silver certificate, physical silver. So how can we turn our 401k into gold and silver? You know, I'm not a financial expert, and my 401ks, I literally have gotten out of the 401k and I literally do all my own taxes or do all my own trading. So as far as turning it into gold and silver, you would there are people out there that know more and are willing to help people convert that. You would have to reach out and talk to somebody that actually knows. I'm not going to say I know it because I don't. So, but in retail, you know what? I've been in the retail business myself. I've I've done a lot of work, whether it's retail, whether it's restaurant business, whether it's plumbing, whether it's electrical. I've done a little bit of everything in just a short amount of time, but the workforce is definitely lacking. Who is best to trade through? Are you talking trade stocks, trade silver, gold? I there's there's a whole bunch of places that you can buy gold, you can buy silver. Proud is putting up Desmond coins. They're good, but you can also buy silver bars, stuff like that, that you can actually physically hold as well, and they're going to actually hold more value than even they're going to hold value longer than even printed coins. So, but Pi coin, I don't know where that's at. I would have to, if you send me a link, I could check them out too. And guys, if there's places that you guys are using to buy certain goods or certain services that are that are actually decent places to buy, we'll put them up in the resource page so people can actually go and get stuff from them. So you get your motorhome today for my backup home. Um, hopefully, it has a point system for the ignition, just in case. If it doesn't, it's easy enough to get a converter. Um, yeah, Tammy, if you're in the Signal group, just send that over to me. It's hard for me to actually grab the comments, so. Um, but there's a lot of stuff out there, guys, and as far as like Nazera, Jazera, there is so much conflicting information that I don't want to say that it's all bad. I don't want to say it's all good. But I also want people to understand that it's a treaty. It's not something that's just gonna take place just because the president signs it. If the president signs it, it still has to go through Congress to get ratified. Otherwise, it does not take effect. So I know that's probably not what people wanted to hear, but it's just factual. Okay, thank you guys for sending that. But I know there's a lot of other questions, so bear with me, and I will have 4 minutes before your next meeting talking about money. Yeah, we were. Have I looked into Nazara deeply? Yes. I've actually read the proposed treaty. So I and the underlying documents, and it's there are parts of it that I agree with. There are parts of it that I strongly say no way, not a chance. So I mean, when you look at the actual physical documents, it gets kind of crazy. What sources? How about the actual treaty that was signed by Russia? And actually, it comes in Russian, and you translate it out, and that's how you get the wording. Yeah, there is a ton of information on it. So, will it go through? The probability of Nazara and Jacera actually being ratified by Congress is, I would say, about 40%. Right now, we have a very corrupt Congress, so yeah, private individuals actually have no control of Jacera or Nacera. That has to be done in accordance with federal law and other state government or other countries' governments. And private individuals do not have access at that level. It's already supposed to be in effect there. Russia's been pushing more for it. Russia's been pushing more for it. They've resisted the central banking system. So I know that some people are like, well, why? It's guys. I just look at things, and I might be really off my rocker, but I don't think I am. When I'm looking at the stuff that I'm looking at, and there's good, bad, a lot of information. You don't really know what's all there. But the treaty itself, what's actually in the document there, in the treaty itself, it's 1,795 pages. Again, that's 1,795 pages. I don't think anybody has actually read the entire thing. I have read 300 pages, and there's stuff that contradicts each other all the way through. Russia disconnect from the Rothschilds. They actually, the central bank has never actually been part of Russia. If you actually look at Russian history, Stalin threw. They tried to come in under Stalin, and they were wrong. 15 people or 15 different shows, all talking about the same thing. They can't all be wrong. And I'm gonna go back, and I'm gonna bring up other people's stuff, but I'm gonna go back and say that confirmation bias is a real thing, and it happens in the conservative and in the liberal. Okay, so there's two sides and to every story. And am I going out on a limb and saying that other places are wrong? I think everybody is pulling from the same sources and getting the same information, but they're also feeding off of each other. Could I be wrong? Yeah, but I am looking at it, and I know some people are going to get mad at me for saying it, but I believe confirmation bias is a big deal, and it happens all the time. Congress wouldn't want it because it gets rid of income taxes and the IRS. Yes, exactly. That's, guys, control is all these politicians want is control. That's all they care about. Anybody who thinks that the politicians are a good thing, so far I have yet to see too many politicians that are a good thing. I mean, even people that I actually believed in, they're turncoats. And it's disillusioned me in regards to the electoral process and the constitutional process. But it still needs to play out. Everything is still has to go through certain orders in order to happen. And even if GESARA was enacted, guys, all these other countries could be part of it, and they could have passed it. But it doesn't affect the U.S. until the U.S. passes it, signs it, and it goes through Congress. If the U.S. doesn't pass it and it doesn't go through Congress, it doesn't take effect in the United States, whether it's NESARA or GESARA, period, end of story. I'm not always right. No, I'm not. But I do really pay attention. I do really drill down into stuff, and I actually read the documents. And I don't when people talk about it, I actually drill into it and I read the actual underlying documents. I don't sit there and listen to other people's opinions. And for me, if that costs me people, so be it. But I'm not going to put out misinformation. Are the people getting together to redo the rest of the wall? Texas is passing a bill. It's supposed to be in the Senate today, and if it passes, Texas will finish their portion of the wall. So if you find me the actual video of him saying that, send it to me. Congress, Congress didn't pass NESARA or GESARA in 2000. If they would have passed it, it would have already been in effect. The second Congress passes it, it goes into effect immediately or within 1 year of it passing. And why why would like George no, it would have been under Clinton still. Why would they have passed it under Clinton? Give up more control? Yeah, I don't think so. Um, is Daewoo a financial expert? No, he's a social worker. So yeah, guys, again, I don't know everything, but I do draw on my ability to do a lot of research and get underlying documents. And I will put the underlying documents on the website itself because I think a lot of people should actually go through each and every single line of the Nasera-Jacera Treaty, and they should actually research what it means because it is an international treaty for Jacera, and when you're talking that many pages, you'll be asleep before you finish it. So I don't know what you're talking about call-in number. But the central bank is Kabbalish. Yeah, it is. If you look at the members of the central bank and who sits on the board of the Fed, who writes monetary policy, the Federal Reserve is not part of the United States. It is not actually a federal office. It is a privately held company that prints the money, which is why you see Federal Reserve note on your bills, because guess what? It's a loan. It is a note. If you look under law, the word note is a mortgage. So you're mortgaging yourself. So, wow, somebody just sent this in, and yeah, I guys, I know I upset people, and you know what? If people if people don't follow me because I'm unwilling to actually do the circle, that's fine. I'm perfectly okay with that. They already have new money. I've checked with people that I know personally in Switzerland, which is where all the new money rolls out. They actually work inside the Swiss bank in a Swiss bank, and they said they've never seen it. So I may be wrong, but if they're not seeing it in Switzerland, that I've and these guys are vice presidents of Swiss banks, I'm pretty sure they would have very accurate information. So, but yeah, there's if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If you can verify, if anybody can prove something that I say is wrong without using clips from people that claim they were a part of something, if you can find me the underlying documents that prove that I'm wrong, I'll admit on air that I was wrong. Nobody, until that happens, it's my opinion, and people can attack me for my opinion. I don't care. So, yeah, I'm not gonna argue with people. I refuse to argue with people. If people can prove that I'm wrong, in my opinion, do it. So, what happens after 60 days with Trump holding a checkbook? It goes to the Biden administration. It's that simple. But I think there's a few things that are happening that I don't see. If you drill down into the actual document itself, there's a reason that there hasn't been a 25th Amendment push that I've seen, anyways, or that the public's seen. And I think they are trying to do everything to keep or get that checkbook and then the 25th Amendment. But what they don't realize is that triggers another 60-day waiting period. The second they do that, they would trigger that. Even though Joe Biden's out, or Joe Biden would be out, it would trigger another 60-day waiting period. So do I think Trump will let it happen? It's a lie. It's not gonna matter whether or not Trump wants to allow it to happen or not. If that 60 days expires, which it will, it's set to expire on Sunday. If it expires, there's nothing anybody will be able to do about it. It's just the way the law is. So so here's a scenario that I'm saying. So if the 60 days comes up and the 25th Amendment Biden, then that 60 days for Biden starts then. And Biden's not going to be able to make any decisions. So it's going to be another 60 days before anything could happen with the military. So and guys, I don't want people to be upset and say that I'm not, or I'm just taking out the rug. I am a person who doesn't believe in hopium. I believe in telling it straight, and if I'm proven wrong, then I will admit it. I don't sell hopium. So according to a bill that was signed in 2018, Trump holds the checkbook for 60 days. After the 60 days, then the checkbook moves to President Biden, and then if for some reason he was to be 25th Amendment, then the 60 days will start over again. Congressional appropriations. If anybody's been paying attention, so the wall was stopped via executive action. If it was supposed to be something that he could change any other way, executive action wouldn't have had to happen. Not exactly. There is a bunch of stuff that's happening, and I'm hearing a lot of rumblings from a lot of states You're talking over 36 states that are very unhappy with the way that Biden administration is taking care of stuff. So I don't believe that we're even more screwed. There's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes that even I anybody that claims to know what's going on, why would you tell people what's going on? I think there is something that's going on, but as far as what it is, nobody really knows. So okay, I'm gonna address this real quick. Trump is golfing until primaries start up. Primary season's already here. He's already stated that. So nice try. Can Biden be impeached for past crimes that happened? Absolutely. Any action taken that amounts to high crimes and misdemeanors, can you be impeached for? Bribery is considered a high crime. So we'll see what happens. Okay, this is a good question. Who would be making decisions if he's 25th before the 60 days and the 60 days is reset? Then the previous president would still hold the check. There's a mechanism in there that doesn't transfer that checkbook until the 25th Amendment or until 60 days after the new administration takes over. So Obama needs to be impeached. Yeah. And I think we can say that about a lot of politicians. Jason, it's just me bumbling, so not a big deal. But guys, there's so much stuff out there, and I refuse to denigrate other shows or anything like that. But I think people need to understand how things really work. But no, I'm not talking about anybody. I'm just saying this is just the way I am. Is there a chance that he can make the car back? Yes, there's always that chance. There are election lawsuits that the media refuses to report on, and they are still gathering more and more steam, and they're picking up big time. You're not paying attention to what's going on. So the 25th Amendment, I never once did you say, or did you hear me say that Trump would be back in? Nah, never once. The checkbook that has, if there's a 25th Amendment push, the checkbook does not transfer to Kamala Harris for another 60 days if she became the president. That's what I'm talking about. I never said that Trump would be in under a 25th. Nah, that's you're not listening to what people are actually saying. So Is there a president that was removed from office in history? Not that I'm aware of. Um, I know they used the 25th Amendment push with JFK after the assassination attempt. Um, but anyways, yeah. So the when they're indispensable then, or when they're not there, whether they're sick or whatever, then and then with Ronald Reagan when there was an attempted assassination on Ronald Reagan when he was out, there was a 25th Amendment push. He was not removed from office. It was just a temporary 25th. But in Joe Biden's case, I believe it'd be a full 25th Amendment push, and he'd be completely out. So I believe every person needs to stay true to their own convictions. Not everyone is going to see things the same. Absolutely, I believe that 100%. You you guys see stuff different than I'm going to see it, and I look at things in a different way than everybody else does, and I know there's a lot of people that wonder, well, why are you going to contradict everybody else? And I've heard from 5, 6 different people, and it's because I again I hear a lot of people talking about it, but I don't see any of their underlying documents that prove what's being said, and any treaty, anything out there that is signed by the government or signed by the president or whatever, or entered into by the United States is public record and it's available and it has to be published. So I look at all that stuff. So there was a good CGI of Biden and a bunch of press reporters. I seen that yesterday, and I thought that was pretty awesome that they actually showed that on national television. They had a bunch of microphones stuffed in Biden's face, and he went like this and it passed right through the microphones. So, guys, it happens. There's plenty of fakes out there. Trump signed the stimulus checks. Is that in a file and did Congress approve it? Guess what? If you actually look at the checks and you actually look at the congressional appropriations, if they were sent out before the 60 days is up, it had to be on Trump's name, had to be on the stimulus checks because he still controls the checkbook, and that's part of something that the Congress did pass. So good try. Yep, but the checkbook is still held by Trump, so he is going to stimulate, or he is still going to have the signature until Sunday. After that, if there's not a 25th Amendment push, so the signature is in the memo field, but a lot of people are showing checks and stuff like that, and some people were getting their checks as early as I heard somebody from Maine said they got an actual physical check on Saturday, which is quite surprising, and they actually showed a picture of it, and Trump's name was actually still in the memo field where it was the last time. So According to the Constitution, do all elected officials have to be U.S. citizenship and their parents? Yes, they have to actually be, or all elected officials. No, that is all. So here's a caveat. So anybody that's in the chain of command. So Ilhan Omar cannot be Speaker of the House because she is not a naturalized, or she was not a born U.S. citizen. She was never born in the United States. So she could never be in the Speaker's position because of it being in the chain of command. So, so can do you have to be in order to be the president? Yes, but in order to receive those kind of offices, like the presidency, the vice presidency, and the speakership, you have to be a born U.S. citizen. What do I think will happen right now? There are actually 5 states, and I'm getting a list together and the docket numbers and all that stuff put together for people. But there are 5 states right now that have actual voter fraud cases that are in discovery. So, yeah, I think we can agree to that. Harris's parents were not citizens or are not citizens. If she was born in the United States, automatically she is a citizen. It doesn't matter if they were living here under green cards or whatever. There's a reason illegal aliens are coming over across the border and having kids, because now they have an anchor baby. They have a naturalized U.S. citizen that was born inside the United States. Um, Obama wasn't. They made some really good fakes of his birth certificate. Um, I would wager to bet that there's going to be a lot more than that. In Antrim County alone, there was a 68% error rate on the dumb onion voting machines, and now they're starting to actually look at Wayne County and multiple other counties in Michigan. Arizona, the same thing. They're seeing a 68% error rate, and it's just they're just starting. So I believe there's going to be enough proven that the discovery phase has already started and it's picking up evidence. So, but guys, we are running really rapidly out of time. It's definitely been a heated, spirited debate, and we've covered a lot of topics. And some people don't agree with me, and I'm going to get phone calls. But trust me when I say that I'm not somebody who's out trying to push opium, because opium is like a drug. We'll chase it wherever we go, and I want people to be living and prepare for the worst, hope for the best. That's that's the way it is. And if you're under the opium standards, no, what the yeah. So I guess I just got booted off of Twitch. We'll see what. We'll see what's going on here, but guys, I am going to. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay, it looks like I'm back. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. For some reason, Twitch was glitching really, really bad. That's the worst I've ever seen it. So I apologize. I was scrambling. Yeah, they found me. Absolutely, they found me. I think it's probably because we've had the largest show that we've had on Twitch. We've actually had the largest showing today. So yep, yeah, there's a lot of. So, guys, I know everybody needs to get rolling. Everybody needs to get going with their day. So, but as always, guys, it's been a pleasure having you guys here, and I am absolutely delighted to have spirited conversations like this because this actually makes things interesting for people. So, you guys have a pen and a microphone. Use them. The silent majority can no longer stay silent. God bless you guys. God bless the United States of America. And we will see you at 7 p.m.